My college roommate Lin Ruru has a poor memory. She was the class representative for an elective course and mistakenly recorded my score of 96 as 69 when helping the teacher register grades. The teacher asked her to correct it, but she forgot. As a result, I dropped from first place in my major to third place. The dorm supervisor issued a notice that prohibited items would be inspected the next day, but Lin Ruru happened to forget to put away her small electric pot that day. This resulted in the entire dorm being marked for disciplinary violation, and my academic scholarship was also revoked. Later, she secretly brought her drunk boyfriend back to the dorm and forgot to take him away. This led to our dorm becoming famous overnight, and everyone's reputation was ruined. Afterward, Lin Ruru just looked innocent and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I just have a bad memory." I slapped her several times hard, and we ended up wrestling. Only to be pushed down the stairs by her. Opening my eyes again, Lin Ruru tearfully spoke up, shuring, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake entering your score." I raised my hand and slapped her. "If you're wrong, then correct it. No, I'm watching you fix it." When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in front of the computer. On the screen was my elective course grade, 69 points, but earlier, I had seen the score on the paper transcript at the elective course teacher's office, and it was 96 points. Shocked, I was wondering what to do. Lin Ruru walked into the dormitory, humming a tune. In a very good mood, Lin Ruru was the class representative for this elective course, responsible for helping the teacher record grades. Just like in my previous life, I opened my mouth and asked, "Lin Ruru, why did I only get a 69 in my elective course?" Lin Ruru widened her eyes in surprise. "No way, shuring. Your grades are so good, but I didn't know that either." I rolled my eyes at her and immediately called the elective course teacher. "Teacher Lee, this is Shuring. I previously saw my grade as 96, but now the system shows it as 69. It must be that Lin Ruru made a mistake when recording the grades. Have Lin Ruru correct it. She can still fix it for you now," I said to Lin Ruru. "Teacher Lee said you should help me change my grade." Lin Ruru glanced at the report card and walked over, sobbing as she spoke. "Shuring, I'm sorry. It was my mistake in recording your score." I raised my hand and slapped her. "If you're wrong, then correct it. No, I'm watching you fix it." Lin Ruru was stunned by my sudden slap, standing there in a daze with teary eyes, because I have always been a person with a very good temper and have never lost my temper with my roommate, even though she sometimes accidentally sprays my expensive perfume on her friends, mistaking it for floral water. Sometimes they borrowed my homework to copy and accidentally lost my notebook. Sometimes they accidentally tipped my umbrella by mistake, causing me to get soaked on the way back to the dorm. I never lost my temper. In my previous life, I just spoke to her politely, asking her to correct my grades, and she readily agreed. After the revision period passed, she claimed she had forgotten. This caused my GPA to drop from first in the major to third, yet she showed no remorse, saying she just has a poor memory. Now, Lin Ruru is covering her face and crying. "Is it really worth getting so angry? I just have a bad memory. I glanced at your grade and forgot it. That's why I registered it wrong." Looking at her comical appearance, I laughed. "So, I'll watch you change it now, in case you forget again." Lin Ruru fidgeted awkwardly, wiping her snot bubble with her lace sleeve, sniffling as she said, "Shuring, my computer is still in the library. I'll go and change it." I shook my head and gave an understanding smile. "It's fine, use mine." Then I pushed my laptop in front of her, staring at her intently. Lin Ruru had no choice but to reluctantly log into the grading system and correct my score. Just as Lin Ruru was about to log out of the system, I grabbed her hand. "Wait, your score doesn't seem right either." Lin Ruru suddenly panicked at the sight. "No, I've checked it many times. There's definitely no mistake with that." She logged out of the system, handed the computer back to me, and hurriedly picked up her bag before leaving the dorm. I clearly saw that she had registered 90 points for herself, but she only scored 70. I immediately sent a text message to Teacher Lee, informing her about Lin Ruru's mistake in recording the grades. As soon as Lin Ruru returned in the evening, she threw her backpack heavily onto the floor and shouted loudly, "Watashi just has a bad memory." Helping the old lady as a class representative, and still getting scolded by the old lady. It's so infuriating. Li Yin immediately ran over to comfort Lin Ruru kindly. "Ruru, what's wrong?" Lin Ruru sobbed. "I just accidentally entered the grades wrong, and Teacher Lee scolded me." Li Yin also joined in scolding Teacher Lee. Lin Ruru stopped crying, stood up, and walked over to me, shuring, "It's all your fault for insisting on calling Teacher Lee, which got me scolded. Are you happy now?" I laughed. My grade was recorded incorrectly. Isn't it only right to ask the teacher to fix it? Seeing that she was in the wrong, Lin Ru started crying again, her nose running. Why are you being so harsh? Li Yin walked over, looking righteous and unyielding. Shirring, why are you being so harsh on her? If Ro made a mistake entering your grade, you could just ask her to fix it. Why go and complain to the teacher? Such a small matter. And you have to get Ro scolded. After saying that, she glanced at me and pulled Lin Ro away. Ro, let's ignore her. She thinks she's so great just because her grades are good. Zhao Hui happened to walk in from outside. Hurry up and check your scores. I just checked my elective course grade, and it's 10 points higher. Li Yin opened the system with a puzzled look, only to find that she had gained 5 points. After realizing what had happened, her face turned pale with anger. Lin Ro. How many people's scores did you enter incorrectly? Lin Ro panicked instantly, her eyes beginning to dart around nervously. What does she just has a bad memory? What does she didn't do it on purpose? Bad memory. I think you're just doing it on purpose. I really thought I failed, and you almost made me have to retake the course. As she spoke, Li Yan's voice grew louder, her face flushed with anger. When it came to her own situation, Li Yan suddenly wasn't so magnanimous anymore. If I hadn't noticed, they wouldn't have even realized their grades were recorded incorrectly. Later, Li Yan asked around and discovered that Lin Ro not only recorded our grades incorrectly but also added a few extra points to the scores of the handsome and wealthy boys in the class. She deducted points from the grades of several girls she had secretly criticized, with the more disliked ones losing more points. To make amends, Lin Ro offered to treat our entire dormitory to milk tea. I directly refused Lin Ro's milk tea. Lin Ro's eyes were red, and she spoke in a coquettish tone. Darlings, I really didn't mean it. You can hit me, scold me, but please don't ignore me. As she spoke, she grabbed everyone's hands to hit herself. When she reached me, Lin Ro suddenly stopped. Afraid that I might actually hit her again, I calmly said, "Do as you please, I've already hit her." Zhao Hui suddenly froze, her eyes showing a hint of admiration. Shirring, how did you suddenly become so tough? Li Yan's words, however, carried a hint of sarcasm. It's not that serious, right? I wouldn't be so petty as to hit a roommate over such a small matter. Lin Ro immediately stepped closer to Li Yan. Yin, you'll forgive Ro, won't you? Li Yan said. We've been roommates for a year now, since she sincerely apologized. Let's forgive her. After all, we're an outstanding dormitory. Ruru has always been a bit scatterbrained. She might have just had a momentary lapse in judgment, but deep down, she's not a bad person. I just smiled and didn't respond. Li Yan and Zhao Hui accepted Lin Ruru's milk tea. As they drank the milk tea, they choked and spat it out because it contained a lethal amount of sugar. They stared at the label and fell silent. My roommate likes it sweet, 100% sugar. The dorm group chat suddenly became lively. Li Yan, Lin Ro. Are you crazy? 100% sugar. I hate sweet things the most. Didn't I tell you not to add sugar? Zhao Hui, I don't like sweet things either. It's sickeningly sweet. Lin Ro. Whoa. I'm sorry. I remembered wrong. I remember you two like sweet things the most. I'm so stupid. My memory is so bad. Whoa. Because the grades were changed back. I became the top student in my major, as long as there are no disciplinary deductions. According to the grade ranking, I can get the first-class academic scholarship this time, which is 6,000 yuan. Just like in the previous life, the dormitory supervisor sent a notice in the dorm group chat in the evening. Building-wide dorm inspection tomorrow, 9/00/12/00. Because the school's policy follows a collective punishment system, if any prohibited appliances are found, the entire dorm will be recorded as a violation. This directly disqualifies them from awards and honors. Last time, after we all left the dorm, Lin Ru took out her small electric pot and placed it on the table. When I returned, my world collapsed. My 3,000 yuan third-class academic scholarship was gone, along with the titles of 3 good student and outstanding student cadre. This time, I lingered in the dorm without leaving. Seeing this, Lin Ru hurried over to me with quick, small steps, shirring. Why aren't you going to class yet? I don't feel like going. Aren't you not going either? Left speechless by my retort, Lin Ru instinctively lowered her eyes, looking at the floor. I'm about to leave now. Before leaving, she deliberately placed the small electric pot on the chair, which was positioned under the table. Although it wasn't as obvious as being on the table, a quick glance would reveal it. After she left, I walked over and threw her small electric pot directly into the outside trash bin. When she returned to the dormitory in the evening, Lin Ru was puzzled to see that our dorm hadn't been marked for any violations. I ran to question the dorm supervisor. Auntie, I forgot to put away my small electric pot this morning. Why wasn't our dorm marked for a violation? Were you not thorough during the inspection? The auntie looked helpless. I didn't see any small electric pot. What should I mark? Lin Ru pulled the auntie back to our dorm and demanded that she search our room carefully. She rummaged through her entire cabinet and drawers but couldn't find the small electric pot. Where's my small electric pot? That's strange. I left it on the chair this morning. I spoke up with concern. Lin Ro. Don't you have a bad memory? Maybe you never actually bought a small pot. Lin Ro slowly stopped what she was doing. I just have a small electric pot. As she spoke, she began scrolling through her purchase history, but couldn't find it no matter how hard she looked. Of course she couldn't find it, because that pot was actually a classmate's small electric pot that she had brought back when her memory was failing. During the first class gathering, everyone brought small pots to the classroom to secretly cook Odin. As a result, Lin Ro brought back a small electric pot just like that. The aunt was speechless, turned around, and left. Lin Ro sat down on the seat dejectedly. I clearly remember putting it on the seat this morning. How did it disappear? Shering, you left later. Have you seen it? I raised a gentle smile. Why did you put the pot on the stool this morning? Didn't Xiaohui emphasize the dorm check today before leaving? Lin Ru shot me a glare, her eyes filled with the panic of being exposed. When I was packing my things, I just put it down casually and forgot to put it away. I specifically told you, and you forgot right away. If we get marked for a violation, we'll lose credits, and earning them back costs money. Are you going to pay for everyone? This time, Li Yan and Zhao Hui also did not believe Lin Ro, and they both condemned her. Violating discipline will also result in a deduction of credits, which can be made up by taking additional courses. Lin Ro is willing to suffer 800 losses herself in order to inflict 1,000 on the enemy. Lin Ro tearfully video called her boyfriend. I got scolded by my roommate today. Boo-hoo, it's all my fault. My memory is really bad. A deep, resonant male voice came from the other side. My sweet baby, who scolded you? Let your big brother see. As she spoke, Lin Ro panned the video over Li Yan and Zhao Hui. Li Yan was changing her clothes and let out a startled scream. Damn, Lin Ru, what are you doing? I'm changing clothes. A low whistle came from over there, and Li Yan shot a glare at Lin Ru's phone. Zhao Hui was sprawled out on the bed, playing with her phone. When the camera panned to me, Lin Ru hesitated for a moment. A low, booming voice came from over there. Robauer, where's the other one? I remember that one was the prettiest. Lin Ro's phone continued to scan my face, and I raised my hand and slapped it. Everyone was startled by the sound of the slap. Lin Ro's phone fell to the ground. Shirring, why are you hitting me again? Thinking about how she used to secretly film me changing clothes to show her boyfriend, I feel a wave of disgust. I've already reminded her with a cold face many times, and each time she says, I have a bad memory. I thought you didn't mind. Before, I thought since we're roommates and have to live together for 4 years, I should just endure it and let it pass. After dying once, I realized my breasts are important too. I was furious. This is a girl's dorm, not your boyfriend's live stream. Yeah, Lin Ro, can you be a little more normal? I was changing clothes, and you're filming the dorm for your boyfriend. Exactly. Can you have some sense of boundaries? Lin Ro covered her face, sobbing and sniffling. What if she didn't know you all disliked this? What if she thought you all had great figures and enjoyed showing them off? Ugh, what the hell? Is this the kind of thinking an educated girl should have? Likes to show off to her loser boyfriend. Slap, another slap. Lin Ru covered her face and stomped her foot angrily. Shirring, I'm not talking to you anymore. You meanie, boo-hoo, you're bullying me. The phone kept playing a deep, resonant voice saying, Robauer. Hearing her cry, I couldn't help but play a song and sing along. What kind of rhythm is the most? Oh, the most swingin'. What kind of song brings the most joy? Li Yan and Zhao Hui couldn't help but hum along. The dormitory gradually filled with singing and laughter. Lin Ro, holding her phone, ran out of the dormitory in tears. Soon, an unfamiliar number called me. The voice on the other end was a low, booming tone. Shirring, did you bully Robauer? Yes, I'm Shirring, but I didn't bully her. I've added you on WeChat. Hurry up and accept it. I need to have a serious talk with you. You're insane. Get lost. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Lin Ro's boyfriend, Zhang Jun, is a total scumbag. He's dating Lin Ro, but whenever he sees a pretty girl, he asks for her WeChat. He's tried to add me on WeChat 10 times before, and I've rejected him every time. Then he turned to Lin Ro and said, I added him on WeChat 10 times, but he rejected me. Lin Ro angrily came to confront me, asking why I wanted to steal her boyfriend. After I presented evidence and thoroughly exposed her, she started to gaslight herself. Zhang Jun said he was afraid he couldn't contact me, so he wanted to add you on WeChat. If you don't want to add him, fine, it's no big deal. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Lin Ro finally returned. She also brought back a quilt. As soon as she returned, Lin Ro began to carefully fold the quilt. Someone sent a message in the grade group chat. Damn, who took the blanket I hung out to dry? What am I supposed to cover myself with tonight? What kind of blanket? Right now, I'm filled with a sense of justice. Lin Ruru probably brought back someone else's blanket, blue floral quilt. It's the quilt that Lin Ruru brought back. I walked over, took a photo, and sent it to the group chat. I caught a glimpse of the message Lin Ruru sent to her boyfriend. This quilt is actually made of silk. Lin Ruru saw me taking a photo and loudly questioned me, Shireen, what are you trying to do? I raised my eyebrows. My eyes filled with helplessness. Lin Ruru, is this your blanket? Why did you bring someone else's blanket back? Li Yin and Zhao Hui also saw the message in the group chat. Li Yin said, someone in the group said it's someone else's blanket. I remember you didn't go to hang your blanket out this morning either. Zhao Hui, yeah, don't you only have one blanket? Seeing us meddling, Lin Ruru got flustered and snapped. Watashi went to hang it out this morning. I just remembered wrong. Watashi will go return it to her right now. After saying that, she took the blanket and went out. When she came back, she was holding a small, smelly blanket. Look, I hung out a blanket today. I just remembered wrong. I didn't mean to take someone else's stuff. You've wronged me. You need to apologize to me. Unable to hold back any longer, we burst out laughing. It was a car floor mat. Lin Ruru saw us laughing and glared at us fiercely, a hint of hatred flashing in her eyes. The instructor complained in the group chat, who took the carpet from my car, the dog peed on it, and I haven't had time to wash it yet. I can't believe this idiot. Since there was dog urine, we all left Lin Ruru alone, letting her keep the little blanket company. When she went to bed that night, she spread the blanket on the bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep, and suddenly sat up. Who wet the bed? It's stinking me out. No one paid any attention. Lin Ruru got up and walked to our bedside, reaching out to flip through my mattress, wanting to check each one, but I scolded her back. The smell of urine is coming from your side. Impossible. I haven't wet the bed since I was 10. It must be one of you who wet the bed. Lin Ruru picked up her phone, ready to complain to her boyfriend, when she suddenly saw the group message. That's when I realized it was dog urine. I threw the blanket off the balcony in disgust and stopped making a fuss. It was just a pity for the counselor's dog. Without the blanket, it had nowhere to pee and reportedly became almost depressed. Soon, I received all my certificates of academic excellence, 3 good student awards, and outstanding student leadership honors. Seeing this, Lin Ruru hopped over to me, Shireen, I want to see your certificate. After getting it, Lin Ruru started pushing her luck. Can you lend it to me for half a day? I want to use it to take photos and post on my social media. I think it looks impressive. In my previous life, she borrowed my 680-point CT6 score report to post on her social media in the same way. Then, when she returned to the dormitory that night, she said she forgot where she had put the score report after taking the photos. As a result, my transcript was lost and cannot be reissued. This time, without a word, I snatched it directly. No, I hate fraud the most. Lin Ruru was startled, her eyes turning red. I don't mean anything else. I just want to keep it as a memento. Her good friend Song Yuan passed by and began to stand up for Lin Ruru. Just lend it for a photo. Why be so stingy? Song Yuan ranked 3rd in the class this time. If you want to keep a memento, why use mine? You should use Song Yuan's. Isn't she your good friend? Lin Ruru turned her head, her eyes red as she looked at Song Yuan. Song Yuan suddenly felt a bit flustered, although she and Lin Ruru were nominally good friends. She was well aware of what kind of person Lin Ruru was. I'm only in 3rd place. After saying that, she picked up her backpack and prepared to leave. I reached out and stopped her. 3rd place is still excellent. Don't you also have the arts award? That suits Lin Ruru's temperament even better. You're not reluctant to lend it to Lin Ruru, are you? Upon hearing this, Lin Ruru's eyes lit up, and she stared intently at Song Yuan. I continued to stir things up. Aren't you two best friends? Lin Ruru chimed in from the side. One, just lend it to me for a photo. I'll return it to you tonight. Song Yuan had no way out and reluctantly took out the certificate of honor, just handed it to Lin Ruru. Then quickly pulled it back. Ruru, maybe I can help you take the photo. Lin Ruru snatched it away. Your photos are so ugly. I don't want you to take them. I want my boyfriend to take them. Lin Ruru hopped away with the certificate in hand. Song Yuan shot me a fierce glare, and I left with a smile, my backpack slung over my shoulder. When I returned in the evening, only one of the 2 certificates of honor remained. As expected. Lin Ruru had forgotten about that arts award certificate. Song Yuan rushed into our dorm, her face flushed with anger, and confronted Lin Ruru. Lin Ruru, where did you put my certificate of honor? I need it for the competition registration later. Lin Ruru spoke in a sweet, affected tone. Wen, I'm sorry, my memory is not good. I really don't remember where I left it. Song Yuan didn't believe her and started rummaging through Lin Ruru's backpack, but found nothing. She could only squat on the dormitory floor in despair and cry. After crying for a while, she suddenly remembered something and ran up to me, shamelessly starting to blame me. "It's all your fault, Shireen. If you had lent it to Lin Ruru, my certificate wouldn't have been lost." I chuckled softly. "How could it be lost? There are surveillance cameras everywhere now." Song Yuan's eyes widened, a glimmer of hope flashing in them. That very night, she rushed to the surveillance room to check the footage. It was Lin Ruru who had folded the Arts Award certificate and tucked it into her own pocket before taking it away. By the time Song Yuan came back to find Lin Ruru, her award certificate was already lying in Lin Ruru's trash can. "One, I'm sorry. I didn't remember that your award certificate was in my pocket. I thought it was scrap paper. So I tore it up and threw it away." The two of them completely fell out. Song Yuan posted about Lin Ruru on her social media circle for a month, using different captions every day to criticize her. She kept submitting posts to the confession wall to criticize Lin Ruru. Lin Ruru just innocently replied below, "I just have a bad memory. I didn't mean to." A few days later, I made it into the National College English competition. To compete, I specifically bought a set of formal clothes. In my previous life, while I was at the library studying, Lin Ruru used my white shirt to wipe the toilet, saying she thought it was a rag. She didn't remember I had bought new clothes. My white shirt was clearly hanging on the balcony to dry, and it was brand new. How could it possibly look like a rag? Later, with no time to buy a new one, I had to wear a white t-shirt underneath and hastily participated in the competition. This time, I deliberately hung a very expensive white shirt on the balcony, then grabbed my backpack and headed to the library. When I returned to the dorm, Lin Ruru was vigorously scrubbing the toilet with my white shirt. The toilet brush was jabbing at my white shirt, rubbing it against the yellow-black stains around the toilet rim. Seeing me return, Lin Ruru said triumphantly, "Shireen, I thought the toilet was dirty today, so I used a rag to clean it. Look how clean it is." I nodded, and Lin Ruru's face lit up with a triumphant expression. I walked to the balcony and pretended to be shocked as I spoke. "Lin Ruru, have you seen my white shirt? I need it for the competition tomorrow." Lin Ruru shook her head. "No, I only saw a rag on the balcony." I stared wide-eyed at the shirt stained with yellow marks. "This is my shirt." Lin Ruru put on a gloating expression. "Sorry, Shireen, I didn't remember you bought new clothes. I thought it was a rag and threw it on the balcony floor." "What are you going to do about tomorrow's competition? Will it be affected?" I sat down at my seat with a serious expression. Lin Ruru continued to chatter on. I sent the order screenshot to Lin Ruru. "That was a 5,000 yuan shirt." Lin Ruru suddenly felt a bit scared. "Shireen, your shirt is that expensive?" Lin Ruru was directly scared to tears. I don't know who gave her the idea, but after she stopped, she insisted that it was my shirt that had fallen on the floor. That's why she used the shirt as a rag. It was all my fault. Her only mistake was being too clean and hardworking. Lin Ruru pretended to be calm as she accused me. I wasn't angry. I pulled out a video and sent it to her. In the video, Lin Ruru, seeing that I had left, sneaked over to the balcony, tipped down the shirt I had hung up to dry, and stomped on it twice. She muttered with disgust, "Let's see how you compete in the contest." Then he kicked my shirt into the dormitory. Watching the video, Lin Ruru finally couldn't hold back and began to wail. "Shireen, I'm sorry. I really didn't know the shirt was so expensive." I asked coldly, "So if it were cheap, you could treat my clothes like this? The shirt costs over 5,000 yuan. Pay me back within 3 days, or you'll have the police coming for you." Lin Ruru's eyes were red, but I caught a flicker of murderous intent in her gaze. The next day, I wore my backup outfit to the competition and smoothly took first place. When I returned to the dorm, I overheard Lin Ruru calling Zhang Jun to borrow money. "I've spent so much on you before. Can you at least lend me 1,000 first? Robauer, I really don't have any money lately. I found a way to make money online. Want me to share it with you?" "What method?" "Just take a photo and you can get a loan. You can pay it back once you get your living expenses from your parents." Lin Ruru borrowed 10,000 yuan through an online nude loan, repaid me 5,000. And used the other 5,000 to prepare a birthday gift for Zhang Jun. During those days, Zhang Jun called her frequently, always using a low, husky voice to call her Robauer. On Zhang Jun's birthday, Lin Ruru went out drinking with him. In the previous life, it was on this very night, Lin Ruru brought the drunk Zhang Jun back to our dorm. In the evening, I invited both Li Yan and Zhao Hui out. When the time was about right, I let the two of them return to the dorm. I deliberately recorded a video of the three of us having a meal together, and we sang songs all the way back to the dorm in the evening. In the video, we open the door and catch a whiff of alcohol. On Lin Ruru's bed lies a person, tightly wrapped in a blanket. If you don't look closely, it's really hard to tell who it is. In our previous life, it was after we fell asleep that Lin Ruru brought Zhang Jun into the dormitory wrapped in a blanket. I casually asked at the time, "Lin Ruru, Have you been drinking? Lin Ruru responded casually. Yeah, it's Zhang Jun's birthday, so we had a bit to drink. Li Yan, why aren't the lights on? No need. I'll just change and go to sleep. You all should get to bed soon. After a while, Lin Ruru's soft moans could be heard, but we didn't pay much attention and soon fell back asleep. When we woke up the next day, Zhang Jun, shirtless, was standing in the middle of the dormitory. He was leering and turning in circles as he looked us over, a sleazy grin on his face. Zhao Hui let out a scream. A lot of people came over to see what was going on, only to discover there was a guy in our dorm. Lin Ruru ran over from Song Yuan's dorm, her face full of apology. Sorry, everyone, my boyfriend drank too much last night and didn't go back to his school. I was planning to take him away early this morning, but I forgot and slept until now. It's all my fault for having such a bad memory, forgetting something so important, Lin Ruru said, tears streaming down her face in sorrow. Zhang Jun immediately stepped forward, pulling Lin Ruru into his arms. My dear Robao, don't cry. I didn't do anything to them. What's the big deal about just sleeping in the same dorm for one night? Lin Ruru suddenly stopped crying and nodded with a smile. My boyfriend doesn't think much of you either, so don't get any ideas. I'm going to have him leave right now. After saying that, she prepared to leave with Zhang Jun. Li Yan quickly stepped in front of the door, blocking their way. I walked over, grabbed Lin Ruru's hair, and slapped her hard several times. Then she started fighting with Lin Ruru. Zhang Jun wanted to step in to help, but was stopped by Li Yan and Zhao Hui. The three of them started cursing at each other. During the fight, Lin Ruru felt a flower pot on the balcony, picked it up, and threw it at my head. Taking advantage of my dizziness, she pushed me down the stairs, watching me fall. Lin Ruru curled her lips smugly. Who told you to stand out so much? What does it matter if you're rich and good at studying? You're still going to die, aren't you? Before I died, my heart was filled with hatred. I will definitely pay back this grudge tenfold. Li Yan and Zhao Hui wanted to speak, but I stopped them. I approached with my phone in hand and had Li Yan turn on the light. The blanket continued to twist and turn, with Lin Ruru's panting sounds coming from inside. It took a long time for the two people under the blanket to realize someone had entered. Lin Ruru poked her head out, and there was clearly another person lying beside her. You're not in the dorm. I thought you three were already asleep. I curled the corner of my mouth. What's this next to you? You're not hiding someone, are you? The school doesn't allow bringing friends to stay in the dorm. Lin Ruru smoothed her hair. Of course not. It's a doll I bought. As soon as she finished speaking, Li Yan walked over and pulled back the blanket. Zhang Jun lay there bare-chested. Li Yan was startled. Holy shit, it's a guy. My phone immediately zoomed in, capturing Lin Ruru and Zhang Jun clearly. Lin Ruru screamed. Ah, Li Yan, why did you pull off someone else's blanket? You put your phone down. Li Yan covered her mouth in shock. Didn't you often pull my blanket off before? I wasn't angry either. Lin Ruru, furious and flustered, hurriedly put on her clothes and tried to pull Zhang Jun away. Li Yan, Zhao Hui, and I exchanged glances, then immediately left the dormitory and locked the door. The counselor and the grade director rushed over overnight, and a large crowd of curious students had already gathered around. I quickly showed the video I had taken to the counselor and the director, and both of them were so angry they nearly coughed up blood. Lin Ruru was required to take a leave of absence from school for bringing an outside male student into the campus without permission and even into the girls' dormitory. To appease the three of us, the school arranged for us to have single rooms with private bathrooms. The three of us could choose to directly secure a spot for graduate studies at our own university. Li Yan and Zhao Hui accepted, but I declined because I had long wanted to leave this place. A few days later, a classmate forwarded several photos of Lin Ruru to the grade group chat. They were photos of Lin Ruru holding her ID card while not wearing any clothes. It is said that because she couldn't repay the loan, Lin Ruru's photos were posted online. Seeing this, Zhang Jun immediately kicked Lin Ruru. Zhang Jun's school was very poor and didn't care about the students' lives at all, so this incident had no effect on Zhang Jun. Zhang Jun continued to live a carefree campus life. When Lin Ruru begged Zhang Jun to come back for the 10th time, Zhang Jun bluntly said, I find you embarrassing. Stay away from me from now on, or my girlfriend will be upset. Lin Ruru brought an expensive breakup gift to give to Zhang Jun, finally managing to arrange a meeting with him. After meeting Zhang Jun, Lin Ruru took out a knife and stabbed him in the heart. One strike, one kill. The news was quickly suppressed by the school. Before being taken away, Lin Ruru cried in front of the camera, saying, Why is fate so unfair? My roommate is both beautiful and smart, and her family is wealthy, while my family is just average, and even my boyfriend is a scumbag. If there is a next life, I will make everyone pay. 2 months later, Lin Ruru was executed, and I have already received the admission letter from a foreign university. Ready to continue my undergraduate studies abroad, Lian and Zhao, we can relax without worry. As long as they pass, they can directly secure a spot for graduate school later. Just when I thought I could finally start a brand new life, opening my eyes, Lin Rura tearfully spoke up, Shering, I'm sorry, I made a mistake entering your score, Lin Rura said, suddenly showing a smile, looking at the scene before me. My heart suddenly tightened, after hearing the first story above. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. 7 years after giving birth to me, my mother realized that her second marriage life was not good. She began to miss the child she had with her ex-husband, jealous that her ex-husband is too good to his new girlfriend, feeling sorry for the child she had with her ex-husband, who has no mother. To the point where she started finding everything about her father displeasing. Even when looking at me, her eyes could flash with disgust. Finally, when I was 10 years old, she got an opportunity. My father died while he was away on a business trip. After the funeral, she threw me 100,000 yuan from my father's compensation money. From today on, don't call me mom anymore. I am not your mother. You are not allowed to come looking for me either. I'm going back to find my daughter. And from now on, I have nothing to do with you. After that, she reached out to hail a taxi and left home. Watching her retreating figure, I neither cried nor made a scene. Clutching the bank card she had left me, I ran to the furniture store and found the woman from the northeast wearing a mink coat. Auntie, I have 100,000 yuan. Can I hire you to be my mother for 10 years? Inside the furniture mall, a woman wearing a mink coat was smiling warmly as she attended to customers. Sir, our furniture is made from pure oak and crafted by hand. Once you step out of our door, you won't be able to find furniture of the same quality for the same price anywhere else. The hand holding the bank card trembled slightly. I want to rush in right now and ask the woman to be my mom, but I don't dare. The teacher said that when adults are working, children shouldn't disturb them. So I curled up in the corner by the furniture store. A chilly drizzle began to fall in the distance. I tugged at the down jacket my mom had discarded, which I was wrapped in, but I was still cold, yet my heart felt warm. This also reminds me of the day I encountered the woman wearing a mink coat. At that time, my mother was selecting a birthday gift for my sister, whom I had never met, a 300 yuan doll. She bought it without a second thought. A 580 yuan rotating music box, she insisted on having it, and I had only lightly touched the labubu placed on the counter. My mother then slapped the back of my hand. Useless thing, didn't I tell you not to touch things randomly? What if you get it dirty? My hand hurt from my mother's slap, and even a red mark swelled up on the back of it, but I still forced myself to suppress my fear and whispered, Mom, I want this labubu too. Labubu was the birthday gift my mom promised me for my 6th birthday, but now I'm already 10 years old, and mom still hasn't given it to me. She has bought many gifts for that sister I've never met, from smartwatches to pink bicycles, and now dolls and music boxes. Whatever my sister wants, mom buys it the next day and sends it to her, but every time I cautiously asked my mom when she would buy me my labubu, mom would become particularly impatient and furious. Buy, all you know is buying. Do you think my money grows on trees? Actually, at that time, I really didn't understand. Every time mom calls my sister treats her poorly, and even after hanging up, mom would still cry in pain. But why does mom still tirelessly try to please my sister? When I was young and didn't understand things, every time I saw mom cry, I would rush over and carefully reach out to wipe the tears from her cheeks. Then, in a childish voice, I would say, Mom, my sister doesn't love you, but I love you. But every time, my mother would angrily push me away. Get out of here. If it weren't for you, my daughter wouldn't have stopped loving me. After that, she would return to her room in agony, slamming the door shut. Then, her hysterical cries would echo from inside the room, and every time my mom cried inside the house, I would also cry silently outside. After all, the body that was pushed down by my mom really hurt. Sometimes I also think it would have been better if I hadn't been born. After all, it was because mom and dad, as teacher and student, had an affair while still married that I was conceived, and that's why mom was divorced by her ex-husband. If I hadn't been born, maybe mom wouldn't be so sad. So I became increasingly cautious, increasingly reluctant to make mom angry, but no matter what I did, mom still grew tired of me. For example, right now, when my mom heard that I had the audacity to want a labubu, she slapped me hard across the face. Do you know how much a labubu costs? 58 yuan. Such an expensive toy. Do you even deserve to play with it? Seeing the disgust on my mom's face, I could only clench the hem of my clothes tightly. My face hurt from the slap, and my head was even buzzing from the impact. But I dared not cry, afraid of being beaten by my mother again. After all, for as long as I can remember, whenever my mother was in a bad mood, she would hit me. If she told me to sweep the floor and I didn't do it cleanly enough, she would slap me across the face. "You fool, you can't even sweep the floor properly, you're not half as good as your sister." If I didn't get first place when I went to school, my mother would slap me across the face. "Idiot, is my money meant to be wasted like this? Your sister can easily score 100 just by moving her pen, and you can only manage 98. Every time my mother hit me, I didn't dare to speak or make a fuss. After all, as long as I made a fuss, Mom would only grow angrier. She would pick up anything at hand and hit me even more fiercely. A clothes hanger on the sofa, the belt my dad left on the couch, whatever she could grab, she would use to beat me. Every time, I would end up wailing from her blows, but the louder I cried, the harder my mother would hit me. Later on, I learned to behave. Even if Mom beat me until I bled, I wouldn't cry, because as long as I didn't cry, Mom would become less and less angry, and she would let me go. Just like now, I instinctively knelt down. "Mom, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Mom, I don't want the labubu anymore. Please don't hit me." Yet, for some reason, Mom only grew angrier. She rushed over furiously and slapped me across the face once more. "You idiot, you good for nothing. Just like your father, you're only here to hurt me. What are you kneeling for now? You just want to embarrass me, don't you?" My ears were ringing, and I couldn't hear what my mother was saying clearly. Something even started flowing out of my ears. I reached up to touch it. It was blood, but I didn't dare show my fear. I could only hold back my tears and shake my head vigorously to prove it to my mother. It wasn't like that. I didn't want to embarrass her, but she had once told me that if you do something wrong, you must kneel down and apologize. Yet for some reason, my mother's expression grew increasingly furious. So furious that it frightened and terrified me. Sure enough, the next moment, my mother grabbed my hair tightly. "Get up, I order you to get up right now." Immediately, the scalp being pulled by my mother's grip on my hair hurt terribly, but what scared me even more was the anger on her face. In the past, whenever my mother wore that expression, I would be beaten badly that day. The worst time was when my entire body was covered in broken skin and bloody marks. Out of fear, a sudden warmth spread from my lower body, and despair instantly flooded my mind. Mom hates it most when I wet myself, but what can I do? I really can't control myself. The tears I had been holding back just fell like that. Sure enough, when my mom saw the liquid flowing from the bottom of my pant leg, she instantly showed a horrified expression. "You actually wet yourself. You actually wet yourself in public." As she spoke, my mother reached out her hand, about to slap me across the face once more. My heart tightened sharply, and even my body felt as if it were frozen in place. Just as I was trembling with fear, a deep, resonant woman's voice came from behind me. "Get lost, you piece of trash, abusing a child right out in the open like this." The next moment, I was swept into the arms of a tall woman wearing a mink coat. Her hair smelled wonderful, and though I was still trembling, her strong arms wrapped around me gave me a sense of security I had never felt before. Watching me being held by the woman in the mink coat, my mother gritted her teeth and snapped at her. "What business is it of yours how I discipline my child?" But my mom had just finished speaking. The woman, holding me with one hand, rushed over and directly slapped my mom. "Is this how you discipline a child? Let me show you how much it hurts." My mom's face instantly swelled up, turning a bright red. She gritted her teeth and glared at the woman. "You hit me. What gives you the right to hit me?" The woman glanced at me. "Because I'm a mother, and I can't stand to see someone abuse a child." As soon as the woman finished speaking, the onlookers around chimed in. "Exactly, that's no way to teach a child. I'm telling you, you could go to jail for that. Yes, yes, yes. Call the police right away. Let the police teach her a proper lesson on how to be a mother." My mother's face flushed red with anger. She walked over, pulled me out of the woman's arms, and scolded me in a low, furious voice. "You shameless thing, hurry up and come with me." As she spoke, she gripped me tightly and tried to drag me away, but the woman grabbed hold of me once again. "Daughter, let me tell you, if your mom ever hits you like she did before, you should learn from me and give her a good slap. You're 10 years old now, it's time you learned how to fight." My mother's face turned livid with anger. Perhaps the memory of the woman slapping her was still too vivid, but in the end, she held back from saying anything and just dragged me away. But I took the woman's words to heart and remembered them firmly. When I got back home, my mother angrily picked up a clothes hanger and was about to hit me. "You've really grown up, haven't you? Now that I'm just casually hitting you a few times, you dare to put on an act and play the victim. Let's see how I deal with you, you little liar." Today, as she spoke, she raised the clothes hanger and was about to strike me. If it were before, I would have immediately knelt down and begged my mother, praying for her to spare me, praying for her to let me go. But this time, I didn't wait for her stick to land on me. I frantically ran into my bedroom and pushed against the door with all my strength, no matter how hard my mother kicked the door. I refused to open it. After staying up all night, it wasn't until the next morning that I fearfully opened the door. Only when I saw that my mom was no longer in the room did I let out a long sigh of relief. After that, it seemed like my mom and I had developed a pattern. Whenever she got angry, I would immediately hide. Sometimes I would get caught and beaten even more severely, and other times she couldn't reach me. But I was so happy, in the old days. I only knew that pleasing my mother would keep me from getting beaten. Only when my mother was in a good mood would I avoid being beaten. I had to desperately belittle myself and praise my sister, whom I had never met, to avoid being beaten. But it wasn't until I met that woman wearing a mink coat that I realized there was another way I could escape my mother's beatings, that is to escape. After that, I would often think of that woman in the mink coat, every night before going to bed. My favorite thing to do was to fantasize about my mother treating me the same way she treated my sister, but now, every night before going to bed, I pray that if only that woman in the mink coat were my mother. So, when my mom once again said she didn't want me, I would also stubbornly tell her, I don't want you to be my mom either, although each time I would get a severe beating from my mom, but I never regretted it. When my mother once again took all of my father's money to buy gifts for my sister whom I've never met, and was unwilling to pay my 30 yuan book fee, I no longer felt sad. I secretly went to the roadside to collect empty plastic bottles to sell, saving up 1 yuan at a time to give to the teacher. I no longer showed my first place exam papers to my mother, trying to please her and prove that I was truly no worse than my sister whom I've never met. I won't cry and beg my mom to buy me Labubu either. I won't feel that bitter, tearful ache in my heart when my mom happily holds up the clothes she bought for my sister and laughs with joy. I won't sneak into her room every day while she's asleep just to hug and kiss her. My heart aches with a dense, lingering pain from the memories. By the time I came to my senses, it was already dark, and the lights in the furniture store had been turned off. A few threads of panic instantly scattered through my chest. I wanted to go home and come back tomorrow, but then I remembered that my mom had sold my dad's house. I had no home anymore. Not only do I have no home, I have no clothes, no place to live. After all, my mother told me when she left, the 100,000 yuan she gave me was meant to sever all ties between us, whether I die or live in the future. It has nothing to do with her. I crouched down again, curling up, my nose a bit stuffy from the cold wind. And snow began to drift down from the sky. This also reminded me of my childhood. Every time it snowed, my mom would buy a bunch of down jackets on Taobao. I was quite foolish when I was little. From now on, if mom buys this much, there's definitely a share for me. So I shamelessly asked Mom, I like that pink down jacket. Can you give it to me? Mom gave me a disdainful look. Do you even deserve it, you little bastard? After that, she carefully stored the down jacket in the wardrobe as if guarding against a thief. The next day, she called for a courier and wrote down the address I could recite backwards. Because I was cold without a down jacket, my mother would go around the neighborhood asking if anyone had a down jacket that had become too small, whether it's boys' clothes or girls' clothes. My mom wants them all. Once she brings them home, she'll just toss them into my room. Here, I found some clothes for you. Wear whatever you like. So every winter, I would walk around the neighborhood wearing all sorts of ill-fitting clothes. Sometimes, I would run into mischievous kids. They would come right up to me and mock me. Jiang Xian, are you a beggar? You only pick up the worn-out clothes we kids have thrown away. Every time their words would sting me to the point of tears. I wanted to say, I'm not a beggar, but I couldn't bring myself to say it. After all, my mother still had another daughter to love. She truly didn't have the money to buy me clothes, nor did she have the energy to spare even a little bit of her love for me. My heart ached again, my head felt dizzy, and my body hurt so much. Just as I felt it was hard to breathe, a loud voice exploded beside my ear. Oh, why is there a child lying here? My heart instantly warmed at the sound of this loud voice I had imagined countless times. But my eyes remained tightly shut, and I could only tremble as I raised the bank card in my hand. Auntie, I have money. Can I hire you to be my mom for 10 years? When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. The loud voice was still ringing in my ears. Get lost. How can there be such a woman in the world? Her husband dies, she sells the house, leaves 100,000 yuan for her 10-year-old child, and just runs away. That kind of person deserves to be torn to pieces, alas. We've made many phone calls, but Jiang Xian's mother changed her number, and we have no way of knowing her address. What about this child? Thank you for your bravery. We will contact the welfare institution to have them come and pick her up. At that moment, lying in the hospital bed, my body was truly in great pain, but upon hearing the words welfare institution, I still opened my eyes in fear. I don't want to go to the orphanage, I just want to follow this woman. Trembling and with tears streaming down my face, I said to the woman, Auntie, isn't 100,000 yuan enough to buy you as my mom? I can earn money, I can collect plastic bottles. Please don't abandon me, I beg you, be my mom for 10 years, okay? As I spoke these words, my voice was particularly choked with emotion, and because there were so many tears, whenever I opened my mouth, they would pour into it. Hearing my voice, the woman hurriedly ran over. Oh dear, my little darling. Please don't cry. Do you know you almost died right outside my shop? If I hadn't forgotten my phone charger and come back to the shop, you really would have been gone. All right, don't cry. Auntie promises you. I won't send you to the orphanage just yet. As she spoke, the woman looked up at the police officer. Officer, I feel like it's fate that brought us together. Before we can contact her mother, why don't you let me take care of her? I've never seen such a pitiful child. When I changed her clothes earlier, the bruises on her body, even as an adult, it hurt just to look at them. The police officer glanced at me before turning his attention to the woman. All right, miss, I'll leave her in your care for now. Okay, thank you, officer. With that, the police officer left the hospital room, and I was finally able to openly turn my gaze to the woman's face, seeing me look at her. The woman immediately smiled, thirsty. Let me get you some warm water to moisten your lips. The doctor said you can't drink water yet. As she spoke, the woman picked up a cup, took a cotton swab, and carefully placed it on my lips. The cotton swab was soft and warm. Only after the woman put down the cotton swab did I grip the blanket tightly and ask solemnly, Auntie, I've caused you trouble, haven't I? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. As she spoke, 2 more streams of tears slid down the corners of her eyes. The woman patted my head. All right, don't cry. Auntie isn't troubled, really not troubled. You should rest for a bit. Auntie will call uncle and make some delicious food to bring over. Okay, I really wanted to speak again, but I couldn't hold back my tears, not wanting to bother the woman. I did as she said and started to sleep. When I woke up again, it was already evening. Besides Auntie, there was also a handsome man and another man sitting in the room. You want to take her back home, he showed me. Raising a child isn't like raising a kitten, I know, you saw it too, how pitiful she is. That child we ran into at the mall last time was also her. Didn't you say that child was pitiful last time too? Even if this child finds her mother, I doubt her life will be easy. You didn't see the wounds on her body, layer upon layer, all scabbed over with dried blood. I really can't bear it. Our family's financial situation is decent now, and she is already in middle school. How about we treat it as having a second child? I'm not saying we have to adopt her right away, let's just bring her home and see how it goes. The man seemed somewhat reluctant and didn't say anything. The boy sitting beside the two suddenly said, I've run into this little girl many times. Back when we were in school, I'd often see her hiding outside our shop, peeking in at us. At the time, I thought she was a child from the shop next door, so I didn't think much of it. Now that I think about it, she must have been watching you ever since you helped her, but over the past year or so, she's never bothered us. I suppose she must have been truly desperate to come find us now. Oh, and do you remember that time a thief broke into our shop? Someone suddenly called the police, and the thief was caught red-handed. Do you think it could have been this kid who reported it? As soon as the boy finished speaking, the woman immediately raised her voice and said, Hey. Don't say that. I asked the police back then who called them, and they said it was a child's voice. It must have been her. Honey, come on. This isn't just a child. This is our family's savior. The man stood up irritably. You two, mother and son, just keep making trouble. After saying that, the man left the hospital room, and I, who had been clenching my fists tightly, finally relaxed my grip. The next moment, the boy walked over to me and flicked his finger against my forehead. All right, kid. Stop pretending to sleep. I know you were eavesdropping. My heart tightened sharply, and I trembled as I opened my eyes, but the next moment, tears welled up and rolled down my cheeks. I'm sorry. I've caused trouble for you. The woman hurried over and wiped away my tears with a tissue. All right. Don't talk about trouble or not trouble. You're still so young. What do you know about trouble, if you really don't want to trouble us? Then hurry up and get better so you can leave the hospital. I tried my best to hold back my tears. Good. After that, I stayed at Auntie's house. When I was discharged from the hospital and returned to Auntie's home, I saw the entire room filled with dolls in the second bedroom. My tears almost welled up again, and he looked at me. I didn't know what you young girls like, so I asked Tiji to pick it out at the mall. He's a typical straight guy and doesn't know what you young girls like either, so I'm not sure if his choice suits your taste. With tears welling up in my eyes, I walked over and picked up the Labubu doll on the bed. I really like it. I love it so much. Thank you, Auntie. And he walked over and patted my head. Be good now. Don't cry over every little thing from now on. No one here will hit you anymore. You can live here without worry. And if you need anything, just tell Auntie. As she spoke, Auntie directly raised the bank card in her hand. See, didn't you give me the money? Auntie will keep it safe for you. From now on, whatever you need, Auntie will buy it for you using the money from here. Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded. Good. After that, I stayed at Auntie's house. During the day, I went to school. After school, I returned home to cook. After that, I would carry the lunchbox to deliver meals to Auntie and Uncle He. Sometimes when Auntie and Uncle He had to go to the factory to pick up goods, I would sit in the living room with the lights on, waiting for Brother He to come home. Every time I looked at the scattered light in the living room, I would cry tears of happiness. I have a home now too. And every time Brother He comes back from evening self-study and sees me, he gets particularly irritable. You're just a kid. You should be sleeping. What are you waiting for me for? And why are you cooking for us? We can put on our own slippers. You don't need to get them ready for us every time. We can also do our own laundry. You don't need to wash our clothes. Every time Brother He says these things, his eyebrows slightly lift. I always find it amusing. I even agree with him readily. But the next day was still the same. Because I knew that Auntie hadn't used a single cent from my bank card. No, what I eat is provided by Auntie, what I wear is provided by Auntie, and what I use is still provided by Auntie. Uncle He, on the other hand, was neither warm nor cold toward me, but in my eyes, he was already very, very good. After all, my dad was often away on business trips, and when he occasionally came home, he would either get drunk and smash things around the house, or he would argue and fight with my mom. Sometimes when the anger couldn't be vented, my dad would kick me. Worthless. If I had known you were a dead girl back then, I would never have married your mother. Such a disgusting woman. After that, my dad would angrily leave home, so I was afraid of Uncle He, afraid that he would send me away, but I wasn't afraid, because even though he didn't smile at me like Auntie and Brother He did, he had never hit me. Until the day of my final exam, I carefully brought back 3 test papers. Looking at the bright red 3 100s on them, I hesitated, unsure whether I should show these papers to Dad He and Mom He. After all, in the past, when I showed my papers to my mom always just glanced at it and then called my sister. Shawi, have your final exam results come out yet? Mom wants to ask how many points you got this time. Standing beside Mom at that time, I didn't understand. It was clearly my exam. So why was Mom asking my sister? What made me even sadder was that every time my test papers were either thrown in the trash by my mom or placed on the table to serve as a pot holder. Sometimes, looking at the perfect score of 100, blurred by oil and soup stains, my heart would feel particularly bitter. Yet, I still chose to take out my exam papers because the teacher said they needed to be signed by a parent. I used to forge my mother's signature on my test papers myself. When the teacher first found out, she scolded me. But after she called my mother, she never asked me to have my parents sign my exam papers again. But now, I want Dad He and Mom He to sign them, because I have a family now. Seeing me standing there awkwardly, Dad He, who was changing his slippers, looked at me in surprise. What's wrong? Did you not do well on the test? It's okay. Your brother once scored 30 points, and I have a good tolerance for that. Hand over the test papers, and I'll sign them for you. I bit my lip hard. And in the end, I handed over the 3 test papers. The moment his dad opened the test paper, his eyes widened in instant horror. 100 points, perfect scores in Chinese, math, and English. I nodded, somewhat puzzled, but the next moment, his dad turned around in panic and shouted toward the house, Hishome, come out quickly, your daughter got perfect scores in all 3 subjects. His mother ran out in surprise. Let me see. As they spoke, the 2 of them studied my test papers carefully, as if they were sculpting a work of art. Wow, this handwriting is so neat. It's not even on the same level as your son's chicken scratch. She's in 5th grade now, right? Damn. Back when your son was in school, I hired a specialist teacher for one-on-one tutoring, and that little brat Hiji only managed to score 60 points for me. Your daughter hasn't spent a single penny, and she even comes home to cook for us. I never see her doing homework, so how on earth did she get a perfect score? Listening to he dad's complaints, he mom slapped he dad on the head. Get lost, you jerk. Your son just inherited your family's lousy academic genes. He dad wasn't angry even after being hit by he mom. He walked over, took the pen from my hand, and signed his name on my test paper with great enthusiasm. This is the first time I've ever wanted to sign a test paper. After saying that, he dad turned to look at he mom. You, go hire a nanny tomorrow to take care of the housework and cooking from now on. My daughter is meant for studying and shouldn't be held back by chores. With that, he dad walked over and took my hand. Come on, let's go as a family to pick up your brother he from school. Tonight, Uncle He will take you all out for a nice meal to celebrate you. Suddenly having my hand held by Uncle He, my body stiffened slightly. It was only then that I realized how broad, how large, and how warm my father's hands were. After that, I seemed to have completely integrated into this family. When Auntie held my hand and took me to the storefront, some of the neighboring shop owners would tease her, asking where she had picked up a second child. Every time, Auntie would loudly retort, "What do you know? She came out of my belly." "What? Just because I'm fat, you couldn't tell I was pregnant? That's your own blindness." And Dad is even more ruthless. "What's the matter? You're too old to have kids yourself. Jealous that I have a daughter? I'll recommend an old Chinese medicine doctor for you to see. How about that?" I know what Mom and Dad are trying to do. They don't want me to feel like I was picked up, inferior, or upset. But Mom and Dad didn't know that I actually didn't deserve it. The life I have now is something I lucked into. Every night before I go to sleep, I give thanks. Thanking the heavens for giving me such perfect parents and an older brother. After that, I really studied hard. Even though I didn't take Olympiad math, I still managed to get into a key middle school. On the day I went to register, I tentatively suggested, maybe I should live on campus. Mom immediately shot back, "Don't even think about it. From now on, your dad will pick you up and drop you off." Every time I hear Mom say your dad or your dad, my heart feels so warm. And I took the opportunity to ask, "If Dad picks me up, what about my brother?" "Your brother can go back by himself. He's already in high school. Does he still need someone to pick him up? With his lousy grades, if it weren't for his talent in drawing, he wouldn't even get into college." I pouted, "Mom, don't talk about my brother like that." In my eyes, he's the most outstanding. All right, I know you all too well. You're just your brother's little sidekick. Your brother was short on money a while back, and he came to you for it, right? That good for nothing, not focusing on his studies all day, just thinking about puppy love from morning till night. I quickly leaned in close to my mom's ear. "Mom, last night I saw my brother kissing the older sister from the shop next door." "Wow, really? Is that true?" "It's true, my brother was over the moon." "All right, now that you know, just don't tell your dad. He's been really annoyed with old Zhang lately. They've snatched several of our business deals recently, but when you think about it, it's not so bad. Old Zhang messes with our business, and my son goes and messes with his daughter. That's a fair trade." Seeing the smile on my mother's face, I smiled along with her. After that, I got into middle school as I wished, and every night it was my father who came to pick me up. I continued to maintain good grades as always. On off days, I might rank around 20th or 30th in my grade, but on good days, I would be the top student in the grade. Sometimes, when I didn't do well on a test, I would feel very sad, and I was afraid that Dad and Mom would get angry, but every time, Uncle would pat my head. "Sweetie, you're part of our family. Don't be afraid. No matter how you do on the exam, Dad and Mom love you." Every time I heard Uncle say that, my eyes would grow very warm. Later, I was successfully admitted to the best high school in the city. On the day after the entrance exam, Dad even held a banquet with 20 tables, inviting everyone in the entire city to celebrate. He was drunk and pulling me along. Let me tell you all, if anyone dares to gossip behind my back again and tell my daughter that she was picked up, don't blame old for losing his temper. My daughter, is a member of the He family in life, and she will always be a daughter of the He family in death. As soon as Dad finished speaking, old Zhang sneered. "You, old He, are just lucky. Your business is the best in our furniture market, and even your child is obedient and sensible. I'm telling you, it's only because your He family's ancestral grave is well placed that you have such a well-behaved daughter like He Dad. Ha, you're just jealous." After that, everyone laughed heartily and clinked their glasses together. As I looked at the sea of bobbing heads in the hall and the banner hanging on the wall that read, "Congratulations to Xian for being admitted to the city's best high school," I held my chopsticks and, in the end, couldn't hold back my silent tears. After that, I attended the best high school in the city, and even made it into the top class. But I never expected to run into my mom there. She had aged quite a bit. Holding a lunchbox in her hand, anxiously scanning the school entrance, I saw her many times, and on several occasions, I even walked right past her, but she never recognized me. Instead, it was Auntie who came to bring me food. Even though there were many students surging at the school gate, Auntie could always spot me at first glance and call out to me in her loud voice, "Hushin, Mom is here." So love and indifference are so clearly evident. After that, I simply treated my mom as a stranger I didn't know. My mom still didn't notice me, until one day at noon, when I was heading out to grab a meal, a female classmate in the class called out to me, "Xian, I'm telling you, I won't let you take my guaranteed admission spot." The female classmate is named Joey. Ever since we've been in the same class, she has constantly found fault with me. Whenever I rank first in an exam, she always raises her hand and demands to review my paper. I achieved the top rank in my grade. She always looks at me with disgust. You think you're so great for being first in your grade, but you're just a study machine. I really don't know why she has so much hostility toward me, until she stopped me at that moment. I looked at my mother standing beside her. I sneered and curled the corner of my lips. With your ranking of 50th in the grade, you dare tell me, the top student, that I stole your guaranteed admission spot. Where is your shame? After saying that, I couldn't be bothered to talk to her anymore and turned to leave, but the next moment, my mother rushed over and grabbed me. You're Jiang Xian, aren't you? You actually got into this high school too. This is a top-tier high school. What makes you think you deserve to be here? And on top of that, you stole my daughter's guaranteed admission spot. How dare you take her spot? My school uniform was pulled askew by my mom. The zipper caught on my neck. Tugging painfully, I glanced at Joey, who was still wearing a provocative smile on her face, and disgustedly shook off my mom's hand. Who are you? What does it matter to you if I got the guaranteed admission spot? My mother instantly gritted her teeth and glared at me. I am your mother. Whether you succeed or not is my business. Let me tell you, you are not allowed to steal Joey's guaranteed admission spot. When the words "I am your mother" came out, I suddenly laughed. It reminded me of my childhood, when she would beat me until I was covered in bruises. I was reminded of my childhood, of that night when I curled up outside Auntie Yi's shop, shivering from the cold. I thought of the day she threw me 100,000 yuan, sold my father's house, and didn't even care if I had a place to go. Can she even be considered my mother? No, she can't. At best, she's just an animal. Too lazy to talk to her, I shook her off and turned to leave, but the next moment, my wrist was tightly grabbed by her. Jiang Xian, I'm talking to you. Where did you learn to be so rude? Anger instantly surged in my chest. I instinctively reached up to push her away, but the next moment, a roaring voice came from behind. Get lost, you bastard. How dare you bully my daughter? After saying that, his mother, wearing her mink coat, rushed over angrily and gave my mother a hard shove. My mother staggered a couple of steps. What does it have to do with you if I discipline my own daughter? His mother retorted without a second thought. Your daughter, this is my daughter. Then, as if remembering something, Mrs. Oh, so you're the dumbass mother of our Shinshin. I didn't come looking for you, and you actually showed up on your own. As she spoke, Mrs. He rolled up her sleeves, rushed over angrily, and grabbed my mother's hair tightly, slapping her twice with a smack. Smack. I'll teach you to bully my daughter. You stupid piece of shit, who the hell do you think you are? Back then, you abandoned the child without a second thought, and now that she's grown up, you claim Shinshin is your daughter. Have you no shame? If I don't slap your face to a pulp today, my name isn't He. As she spoke, his mother angrily swung her large hand and slapped my mother across the face once more. My mother let out an involuntary cry of pain from the blow. Joey looked at the scene before him and sneered mockingly. After my mother was hit, she reached out to retaliate, and I watched as Auntie's face was about to be scratched by my mother. Furious, I rushed over, grabbed my mother's hair, and kicked her in the butt. Seeing that it was me who kicked her, my mother looked at me in disbelief. You actually hit me. I'm your mother. I immediately slapped her across the face again. You could hit me when I was little, so why can't I hit you now that I'm grown up? How dare you lay a hand on my mom? I'll kill you. That day, his mom and I beat my mother badly. Even when the school security guards arrived, they couldn't pull apart the enraged me and the furious his mom. It wasn't until the police arrived that his mother and I finally let go. Joey was originally supposed to go to the police station as well, but Joey only sneered mockingly. Why should I go to the police station? I didn't get into a fight. After saying that, without even glancing at my mother, she turned around and went back to school. My mother watched Joey's back as he entered the school, her eyes brimming with a sorrow she couldn't hide. As for me, I couldn't be bothered to care about her, only anxiously looking at the scratches on Auntie's face that my mother had left. Auntie held my hand. Sweetie, Mom is fine. After we went to the police station, they required someone to come in post bail before we could leave. Mrs. He immediately called Mr. He. My mother pursed her lips, trembling as she said, I have no one to bail me out. Hearing her words, I curled my lips in a mocking smile. So, even after abandoning me and throwing me away, she hasn't been living well either. After all, Joey could ignore her when she was being beaten, only caring about returning to school to study. With a child like Joey, she still had to go out of her way to please her. She deserved it. Dad he arrived half an hour later. The police originally thought Dad he was rational enough and even wanted him to persuade Mom he not to act impulsively, but who knew? Dad he walked over and kicked my mother right in the stomach. Trash. How dare you bully my wife and my daughter? I'm telling you, from now on, stay far away from my daughter. If you dare bother her again, I'll beat you up every time I see you." The police were instantly stunned. My mother, clutching her stomach and curled up on the ground, looked pitiful beyond words, but I didn't even glance her way, calmly supporting Auntie instead. "Mom, Dad, let's go home." After that, my mom saw that I really never greeted her again. Instead, Joey provoked me several times in class. I heard you're an adopted child, and your parents aren't your biological ones. You say, what's the use of having such good grades in school? Aren't you just the child bride raised by the He family? I looked at her face, which bore some resemblance to my mother's. Without a second thought, I slapped her across the face. A mouth is a good thing, but it's not meant for spewing filth. After saying that, I put down my pen and book and left the classroom. That same day, I called his father and told him that I wanted to transfer to another class. After hearing the whole story from me, his father came to the school that very day. At that time, Joey's father also came. That was the first time I met my mother's ex-husband. He glanced at me arrogantly and said, "So you're the bastard she had with someone else." As soon as he finished speaking, Uncle, he punched him right in the nose. "You're the one who's a piece of trash, born without an asshole." The mediation failed that day, and his father and that man even ended up in the police station again after getting into a physical fight. When his mother received the call from the police and rushed over, panting heavily, she didn't hesitate to slap that man across the face. "I gave you face, and you dared to bully my daughter and my man." Just as his mother's action ended, my brother ran into the police station, seeing him still holding a golf club in his hand. The police were almost scared to death. I quickly rushed over to stop my brother. "What's wrong with your family? All you ever do is resort to violence." I quickly stepped in front of my brother. "You're a police officer, but you still can't talk about my mom, dad, and brother." The police were probably so angry their chests hurt. They gave us a note to go to the hospital for a checkup. We paid the bail, and they quickly let us leave. On the way back, I was very upset, crying and apologizing to Uncle He and Auntie He, saying I had caused trouble, but Uncle He just smiled and patted my head. "Girl, that's the way to do it. Your biological mother's side is all a mess. If you show any weakness, she'll latch onto you. The bigger scene we make, the less likely they'll dare to come looking for you in the future." Sure enough, from then on, Joey never dared to provoke me again. Even my mother would slightly turn her head away every time she saw me, pretending not to notice me. In the end, I didn't even have to change classes. It was Joey who ended up transferring. The teacher was exceptionally direct, saying I was Tsinghua material, and she couldn't give up on a potential Tsinghua student for the sake of a 985 university candidate. After that, my life returned to its usual calm, and as I had hoped, I was admitted to Tsinghua University. On the day I received the admission letter, Dad He once again put up a banner at the storefront, celebrating He Xian's admission to Tsinghua University. On the day of the school awards ceremony, besides speaking on stage, I also knelt down and kowtowed 3 times in front of the entire school, including my Dad He and Mom He, thanking them for giving me a new life. Just as I was leaving the school with my award certificate, my mom suddenly showed up. She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. "Jiang Xian, I'm sorry. Mom is so sorry." I turned my head away in disgust. "Get lost. You're disgusting." After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.